The Republican effort to repeal the Affordable Care Act has failed. Arizona Senator John McCain helped sink the effort, along with Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. It all played out in dramatic fashion overnight.
Mr. McCain. Mr. Peters.
You can hear some senators' applause at the end there as Senator McCain gives a dramatic thumbs down signal. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and Minority Leader Chuck Schumer both gave emotional speeches once it was all over.
This is, clearly a disappointing moment. From skyrocketing costs to plummeting choices and collapsing markets, our constituents have suffered through an awful lot under Obamacare. We thought they deserved better. It's why I and many of my colleagues did as we promised and voted to repeal this failed law. We told our constituents we would vote that way, and when the moment came, most of us did. We kept our commitments. We worked hard, and everybody on this side can certainly attest to the fact that we worked really hard to try to develop a consensus for a better way forward.
So let's turn the page and work together to improve our health care system. And let's turn the page in another way. All of us were so inspired by the speech and the life of the senator from Arizona. And he asked us to go back to regular order, to bring back the Senate that some of us who were here, have been here a while, remember. Maybe this can be a moment where we start doing that.
To break it all down, let's bring in senior reporter for The Hill, Alex Bolton, who joins me now from Washington. Thanks for being here. Alex, you heard Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer both expressing interest in a bipartisan way forward on health care. What would that possibly look like?
Well, it's probably going to be an insurance stabilization plan in the short term to shore up these markets where you only have one insurer participating on the individual insurance market, or in some counties there aren't any insurers participating. They say that the insurers argue that Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act has driven up the costs so that it's not profitable for them to participate anymore. Part of the problem is that the payments from the federal government have been capped. That was a rider that was in a spending bill a few years ago. So in the short term already there's discussion on both sides of the aisle about putting together some sort of stabilization package, money that would make it profitable for insurance companies to participate in some of these more rural markets where they're not. Mm-hmm. And how it goes beyond that, we'll see.
Alex, in terms of how things unfolded last night, we mentioned that it was Senator McCain who cast that decisive no vote. I'm curious if you're hearing if there was ever a point during the night that he could have possibly been persuaded to vote yes, and ultimately in the end, why did he vote no?
Well, John Thune, the number 3 member of the Senate Republican leadership, said, once he was on the floor, it didn't seem like there was anything that could have been said to budge him. And Thune also said that McCain was wrestling with the decision throughout the day. So, on the floor, Vice President Mike Pence came up and talked to him. Obviously, he was under a lot of pressure from his colleagues on the floor. In that clip you saw, McConnell was standing right there in front of the dais, in front of the desk there, and looking at him, arms crossed, disappointed as he voted no. So, there was, once he made up his mind, once he got to the floor, Chuck Schumer said that the Democratic leader, that McCain had told him at 10 p.m. how he was going to vote. So that at that point, I think the decision was made. And why did he do it? Well, he said, I did my job as a senator. This was not good for my constituents. And this is something he has been critical of this process throughout. He has complained that Republicans skipped committee markups and committee hearings. There were some amendments related to Medicaid that the governor of Arizona wanted included in the bill. They were left out. And in the end, I think you have to remember, or it can't be ignored, the fact that he was diagnosed with brain cancer last week. His life is on the line. He's depending on doctors, and I think it would have been a very tough vote for him to support legislation that would have been characterized as taking insurance away from millions of people. And I think that would have been a part of his legacy, and he wanted his legacy to be something different, which is what it was last night. Saving Obamacare, really.
A symbolic moment indeed. Alex, after the bill failed, President Trump took to Twitter writing, quote, 3 Republicans and 48 Democrats let the American people down. As I said from the beginning, let Obamacare implode, then deal. Do you think the administration will be able to successfully blame the Democrats for the breakdown?
Well, I think the Democrats have already they already own Obamacare. If there are things that need to be done to save the insurance markets or to keep this thing from imploding, I think the expectation is that the president do those things. So I don't think he'll be able to pin the blame entirely on the Democrats. And some Republicans I've spoken to on Capitol Hill, they say, look, this can't be all about your predecessor. It can't be all about playing politics with your predecessor. At some point, you have to realize that as President of the United States, you are responsible for these people in places like Knoxville, Tennessee, where there aren't any insurers participating, where premiums are going up, where you need some federal assistance. You have to. It is your job as president to take care of those people, even if you have a major disagreement with your predecessor over what health care should look like. And this message is coming from Republicans. So I think they're not going to. I think it's going to be very tough for him to blame the Democrats exclusively.
In talking to lawmakers and aides on Capitol Hill, is there a sense that the president didn't do enough to sell this repeal effort? All throughout the campaign, we heard the president boast that he is a negotiator. This is where he really succeeds.
That was true. There was criticism of that. I mean, Republicans I spoke to noted that he never gave that primetime address where you'd have all the major broadcast and cable networks, on him, so he could make the argument why this law has to pass or why the Affordable Care Act has to go. He did not do any of these major rallies around the country focused exclusively on health care. So there's some disappointment there. But on the other hand, Trump made clear from the get-go that he was going to delegate this, and it was going to be up to Congress. And Congress was happy to try to take care of it themselves. So that I think blunts the criticism a little bit of the president. But yeah, they wanted him to be more involved. That's true.
All right, Alex Bolton breaking down the unraveling of the health care bill. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.